It appears. I initially heard reports that there were some disturbances that had started, but I wanted to be sure about it, so we waited for 45 to be over. And when the 15 minutes was over, Princeton, you saying something? So the when the rest period was over, all the other games had started. However, the protocol game had not started yet. And then I started hearing reports like the referees were being beaten because of some calls they had done. And so the Aduana guys felt had done. Some fans decided that they would take matters into their own hands and then approach the referee and try to get some response from it. Turns out we later saw videos of the referees being chased into the away dressing room. So some footages indicates that the away team even came to the rescue of the referee. And the referees then decided that enough was enough and they were not going to come back onto the pitch to continue with the rest of the 45 minutes that was left on the game. But from what I gather from close sources, certain calls from high places happened, and the referees decided to come back and take care of the 45 minutes that was left. Obviously, we were expecting that when they come back, because of the quote unquote little fear that has been put into them, they will definitely whistle like in some way. But it was give and take, a fair game till the end. And Kotoko, in fact, decided that it was time to inflict more wounds on the sores of Adriana, who have been having a terrible season so far. So that's how it happened. And after 90, as usual, things calmed down a bit, and the referees were able to leave after. So Adriana thought that they were going to be able to answer or get a response um, from that particular one. However, it did not happen. I don't want to say I want to defend the the guys of Gianna, but they felt that this was a game at home that they wanted to make a statement with, having in mind that they are currently 14th on the table after 12 games and having 12 points, which for their standard is quite abysmal. So they were trying to take matters into their own hands, using the wrong means. And for me, you always know, Princeton, I frown against hooliganism in our football. Already, we are trying to get people to come together and talk about our football happen, and now we're having the situation where we have people with more hooliganism in football. Look at what happened when the Black Stars were about to play their last game in our country. There was virtually a free gate, 5 CDs. Come on, the lowest Ghana CD note is 2 CDs, so the next one is 5 CDs, and 5 CDs for this game, and people did not show up. People did not show up for the game, and now we are adding up to this particular issue with this whole hooliganism issue coming into our football game. Who are you going to entice to go and watch these games? That's the problem. That's the part that some of these fans do not understand. However, I want to say that the GFA have been swift. I kept calling on them that they should, as much as possible, make a statement, make it known, because we've seen issues that have happened. Funny enough, around the same Kotoko, when they played against Samatex inside of Boakye, and buses, the Samatex bus was partially destroyed. Some Ayalolo buses house also were kind of hampered. But with regards to that one, personally, I've not seen any message from the disciplinary arm of the FA with regards to that one. I don't know if you've seen anything in that light, but personally, I've not yet seen. But with this one, the FA were swift and have actually released the message that the guys inside Adriana have up until tomorrow, that is Wednesday, to respond to it. And for me, evidence is they need to provide evidence that such did not happen. We already
Right.
have we already have videos on social media that proves to the point that something of that sort actually happened. And now the onus now lies on them and the administration to prove themselves that that did not happen. and it's a Herculean task for them, and I don't see how they are going to get out of this. But for the FA as well, what punishment are they going to hand to Aduana? Are they going to hand them a fine? Who is the fine going to go to? Is it going to go to the referees? So then why? You get beaten and you get paid off? That's where it becomes dicey. That's why I feel like more stringent measures should come into place with regards to hooliganism. When your team touches either an official or an opposing player, you get docked some points. The stadium ban also for me does not hold water. It does not work.
Right.
We've seen stadiums. Well, we've seen teams have their stadiums banned. They go to other places and go and also mess the same place up again. It's all murky. And I do also believe in the fine because we've seen the fine in the case of Kotoko versus Nations, and then the chairman of Nations FC comes to pay up the 80,000 that Kotoko was fined. So I feel if points are being docked from the teams will now be able to feel it lies on them solely to control the behavior of their fans.
So I want us to talk about the sacking of Yaw Acheampong. Was it basically about the defeat to Kotoko, or is more to that? Yes, they've not had the best of starts this season. Is it about the 14th place, or there's more to this? What's up?
Well, I would say that Yaw Acheampong is. I think it's not because of the Kotoko game, not because of the Kotoko. I feel it's been coming. It's really been coming, and it's for me a bit too rash. It's a bit too early in the season as well. Looking at the point tally of the team above them, it's something that they could actually claw back. Should they have allowed him to still be in charge of the team and then put things rather in place to try and get him to get a result? Look at what he did with the team last season. They were able to place fifth in his first season in charge, and in second season, and just playing 12 games, and then you decide to ask him away. And for me, it's unfair. It's unfair on the part of the manager. I always empathize with managers when they are sacked, because sometimes it's not their doing. You understand? Sometimes it's not their doing. Look at the kind of games they have played this season. What is the motivation of the players? Just opposite to Pep. Right now, Pep is having a torrid time at Manchester City. He just signed a new contract. Does that mean that they should terminate the contract and kick him out and then have his assistant in his place? No. Manchester United thought it was all going to be what? Joy when they bring in Amorim. Now they have understood that they need to go through that period of adjustment and suffering once again. So, if Adriana is willing that it is time for them to go through that particular struggle and hustle to try and get, things working, and then, well, good for them. But if not, I feel it's a bit too early in the season. They've amassed 12 points. Imagine they go on a little run of winning 3 consecutive games and hopefully beating teams right above them 3 consecutive games. That automatically changes the face of where they lie on the league. For me, it's a little rush. That's just it. It's a little rush. I feel they should have at least waited till we got to week number 15 and still results are not pulling through, and you still have only won 2 games. Then you can now ask him back. Now for me, it's a bit too early. He was able to get some results. Adriana does not deserve to be on top of the relegation zone, but I feel they were much closer to those on top of them rather than those beneath them. So I feel it's a bit too rash. Yaw Acheampong did great last season. So what is the problem now? You can't tell me a new manager bounce happened the entirety of last season to get him to place fifth. That means he was doing something right. So what exactly is the problem this season? That is what the team, Adriana, need to understand and try and fix up. But I feel maybe they feel that getting rid of the coach will give them a new manager bounce. But his assistant is in place. His assistants who always take over teams. Let people understand this. Assistants are loyal to their bosses. There's no assistant on earth who has come into a team and changed how the team play. Prove me wrong if you've seen any coach who has been sacked and his first assistant, takes over, and then his assistant is able to change the team from what they were playing to a different style. They constantly continue what the team was playing. However, the players just decide that maybe it's time for them to reprove themselves or there's a new form of motivation. That's a whole different thing. That does not mean that the coach was that bad. It now comes down to the playing body. So for me, Kotoko had a worse spell. Look at where Kotoko were when they started going on a beautiful losing run and then dropped amazingly, and they were almost in touching distance of relegation. Now they win just one match and they are back up again. So the Ghana Premier League for me, it's quite a close league, and it's too early to ask your coach. If you ask me, it's too early to give him the sack.
Very well. I wish we could have Gabi to give us more insights on this story, but I think I have Gabi over here. Hello, Godfred. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, can you give us the inside story to Yaw Acheampong getting the sack on Sunday? It happens after disappointing defeats to Kotoko, a team that has been struggling this season. What really went behind the scenes before this decision was taken?
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity on this special platform. I think it was becoming this season. His performance was not up to the task. Looking at it started during his pre-season. He didn't get time to play top matches. He was playing low-profile games, Division Two and Division One, and looking at the players that he has at his disposal, it wasn't enough. It's not up to the task. They were below. He signed Division Two players, Division One, and others who had not even tasted the Premier League before. So inexperience was one of the factors. He did his best. He was doing his best. He was trying. He was trying everything, but I think the squad that he was having at his disposal wasn't enough to compete. So it started from the recruitment team. They sacked a lot of players during the transfer window, and they was not able to replace them with the quality or the experience. So it started from that side, and he was doing his work, but supporters were putting a lot of pressure on him. They were calling him, calling the management to sack him because this club, Aduana Football Club, is very demanding. They were, if you draw at home, they will tell you a lot of things. So this coach, he did very well when he came during his first time, his first season. He was doing very well, but the pressure was too much because they were calling him. The supporters after each game, they were calling him. They were calling on her. They were calling the management to sack him because he's not doing well. So after the Kotoko game, they saw that
Right. So you said you've heard Godfred on the lowdown of the sacking of Yao, but I mean his assistant who is now the interim. You made mention of they not making this right. Which who do you think should replace your champion in this scenario? Godfred, if you're back, talk to us
mm,
about the replacement for your champion and how long is the interim going to do
yes,
the job?
management. There has been a series of meetings since Sunday evening. They have been contacted a lot of coaches, but it will be a local coach. Uh, I talked to the communication director this afternoon. He said it will be a local coach, a local coach. Between David Duncan and Bismarck Kobe Mensah, one of them will definitely come to Adriana. He said about 90% done. So these are coaches. One of them will definitely come to Adriana Football Club. So it will be between David Duncan and Bismarck Kobe Mensah. Those are the people I think they have been talking to them, and it's getting closer. It's getting very closer. One of them will definitely come.
Mm. Um, Thank you very much. Finally, how is the fans also receiving this news, and how do you think that they are going to react in the next game, and then we wrap it up?
Some of them were happy. During after a Kotoko game, there were a lot of pressure on the coach. Even the post match, they couldn't do it, but there was a lot of pressure. Supporters were calling on him. Even he came to me and said, Godfred, I have done my part. This is what I have. The squad that I have is enough to compete. Kotoko were better than us. Most of the team, they were better than us, but I've tried my best. So most of the supporters were not happy about his performance. So I think they will be happy. Even the supporters who got elected to the management demanded the sacking of the coach, demanding the sacking of the coach. So but most of them were happy. But those of us, we think the recruitment team didn't help the coach because the squad that was having compared to the previous seasons, previous squad uh, Adriana is using previous season, this squad is not up to the task. So supporters, some of them, most of them, especially the supporters, leaders are happy. This coach, the management have part ways with the coach. They're happy. They're happy. Most of them are happy.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. When it's here, and I hope that I can get you sometime and then we'll do more. Thanks so much for your time.
Okay, I'm available. I'm going to contact you.
Thank you.
Thank you too.